All right, let's get right into it. Picture this. In labs and universities all over the world, there's a new assistant on the scene. This assistant can sift through decades of research in seconds, help write complex code, and even draft entire chunks of a scientific paper. We're talking, of course, about artificial intelligence, and it's a genuine toss-up. Is it the greatest tool for discovery ever created, or a really serious threat to scientific integrity? Now, take a look at this paragraph. It sounds pretty good, right? Well written, insightful. What if I told you that wasn't written by a human expert? Nope. That was generated by Microsoft's Copilot AI in just a few seconds. That right there is the kind of power we're talking about. It's fast, it's articulate, and it's not some far-off future concept. It's here, right now. So here's what we're going to cover. First, we'll look at the tools that scientists are actually using today. Then, we'll get into the good stuff, the incredible promise of these tools, before we dive into the hidden dangers. After that, we'll explore the new rules being written to keep science on the straight and narrow. And finally, we'll talk about what all this means for the future of discovery itself. Okay, first up, the AI-powered scientist. You know, this isn't sci-fi anymore. AI has officially left the drawing board and landed right in the daily workflow of researchers everywhere. It's a whole new toolkit for doing science. I mean, just think about what a day in the life of a scientist looks like now. You could start your morning kicking around research ideas with a chatbot like ChatGPT. Then, when you're analyzing data, AI-powered libraries in Python or R can do all the heavy lifting. Time to write? Tools like Grammarly and DeepL are there to help you polish your work or even translate it. And before you hit submit, you've got programs like Zotero managing your citations and Authenticate scanning for originality. It's basically an end-to-end support system. So we have this amazing new set of tools. Let's talk about what that actually means for the day-to-day grind of a scientist, and, more importantly, the incredible promise it holds for speeding up discovery itself. Think about the entire journey of a research paper. AI can jump in and help at every single step. It can help you brainstorm and structure that first rough outline. It can do literature searches that used to take weeks and do them in minutes. It automates really complex data analysis, helps you refine the language of your draft, and cleans up all those messy citations. Work that used to take months of painstaking effort can now be done in a fraction of the time. That frees up scientists to focus on the big picture, actual discovery. And here's something that's absolutely crucial for accessibility. About 75% of all scientific papers are published in English. That creates a huge barrier for brilliant researchers around the world who just don't happen to be native English speakers. Well, AI translation and editing tools can help level that playing field, making science way more global and inclusive. That's a huge win. But, you know, every revolution comes with risks. And with AI, those risks are pretty significant. And a lot of them are hiding in plain sight. This is where the story starts to get a little more complicated. Just look at this number, 70%. A study found that while AI could slash writing time, it introduced citation errors up to 70% of the time. It was literally just making things up, what the experts call hallucination. Now, just imagine for a second, what if 70% of the citations in a critical medical paper were just flat out wrong? The consequences could be, well, disastrous. And this really gets to the core difference between us and the machine. Humans have critical thinking. We can think about our own thinking. It's called metacognition. And AI can't do that. It doesn't actually understand meaning. It's just really, really good at predicting the next word in a sentence. If we rely on it too much, we risk losing the very creativity and ingenuity that spark those real scientific breakthroughs in the first place. And just to be clear, we're not talking about minor bugs here. These are fundamental threats to the integrity of science. We're talking about everything from basic inaccuracies and misinformation, to amplifying hidden biases in data, to new forms of plagiarism, and a real confusion over who's the author and who's responsible for the work. And that's before we even get into the huge questions around copyright and data privacy. So this brings us to the most important question. How do we actually manage all these risks? How do we build an ethical framework for this totally new era of science? Well, let's see how the scientific community is starting to respond. So you have groups like the Global Andrology Forum. They're an expert group focused on men's health, but their guidelines really apply across the board. They're stepping up to create some clear rules of the road. They've put together a set of position statements to help everyone, researchers, journals, and even developers, navigate this new world responsibly. For the authors, the scientists themselves, the rules are becoming crystal clear. Number 1, you have to be transparent. Disclose that you used an AI tool. Number 2, You are on the hook to check and validate every single thing the AI generates. 3. You, the human, are solely responsible for the final paper. And 4, and this is a big one, you can never, ever list an AI as a co-author. The buck stops with a person. And that responsibility spreads outwards. Journals are now being asked to use AI to help spot potential misconduct, and they also have to be transparent about how they're using AI. Plus, there's a big push for the tech developers to build in things like digital watermarks, so it's easier to tell right away if text was generated by an AI. Think of it like a digital fingerprint. So, where does all of this leave us? What does the future of discovery actually look like in an age where scientists have an AI partner? Well, it's all about striking the right balance. Honestly, this is the single most important takeaway. AI is an incredibly powerful tool. It can amplify human intelligence, take care of the grunt work, and open up entirely new possibilities. But, and this is a big but, it cannot and should not replace the scientist. The human researcher has to stay in the driver's seat, always providing the critical thinking, the ethical oversight, and that creative spark. And don't think this is just some academic debate happening in an ivory tower. Real-world regulation is already on its way. The European Union's huge AI Act is set to start rolling out, bringing legally binding rules for how these systems are built and used. This is happening right now, and it's going to shape the future of this tech in science and pretty much everywhere else. So we're left with this massive question. Is AI the ultimate assistant, poised to accelerate human discovery like nothing we've ever seen before? Or, if we're not careful, could it become a threat to the very idea of scientific truth? The answer? Well, it's still being written, one line of code and one research paper at a time.